unsure way to start the video, I'm aware. For multiple reasons. One, I want to say welcome back, but this is the first video I've ever done. Two, because these videos are primarily for me, to hold myself accountable to something I'll talk about later. But I'm probably gonna upload them onto YouTube, so I should at least address the audience a little before I just go on a spree of talking to myself. And I'm also going to try to, as I renovate houses, keep the starting budget. So like, this is a starter house, obviously. And by obviously, I mean, it's also an EA built house.
Hey! Hey! How y'all doing?
Which is why there's nothing in it, but it's a starter house. I want to keep that same energy when I create this house. I do want to try to keep like the shotgun style house. It's not my favorite style, so I might tweak it a little, but that is the plan overall. I'm also not gonna kid myself and pretend like I'm gonna try to keep the vibe of the inside of this furniture, because that's not, if I can afford it, that's not happening. Neither is that. This is like a kid's bookshelf. The whole build is questionable. I'm also not a huge fan of those doors. Or maybe I will be later when I don't have enough money to do anything else.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device in which suggestions or warnings about events to come are dropped or planted.
The thing I'm debating is whether or not I want to try to redo the landscaping. I believe that if I want to tweak the shape a little bit, I probably should also tweak the landscaping. Just a solid heads up for future me and anyone who ends up maybe watching this video. I am not great at landscaping in the slightest.
I've had enough of playing games. Fucking hell.
It's like having a job working 24/7.
So, first step is probably figuring out a better layout for the inside. This is also an attempt for me to get better at building. I do build, not often enough to get any better at it, which I think therein lies the rub. Lighting's not great, but I just want to know what color that actually is. Also, is that... yeah, no. Why would they have painted the top if they're just gonna cover it?
Child. Anyway,
I do kind of like it better. Not as grand, but this house is not gonna be grand, so that's fine. Also, we will realize that I tangent very often and forget what I was saying. And by we, anyone who potentially watches this. And also just me, I will realize that because I don't listen to my recorded voice very often, and I realize that in editing this, I am going to be very sad. And I'm not trying to go super ultra modern or anything, so probably won't use that one very often. This one's even kind of pushing it for like the door height, and I did drop it. I think I'll keep it at the lowest height because I like it. It probably looks worse though. I mean, it's not roofed, so you can't tell that it's worse if it is. Also, this is just an awkward. Should I like pull up the porch a little to make that less gross looking, and also center the front porch? Yeah, that makes sense. That's a thing that should happen. There's also porch windows. I don't know what I'm doing. And I also download too much CC to know what I have. And so a lot of this is just gonna be me trying to figure out what to actually use in the first place before I get to anything else. You will notice the lack of an attention span kicking in because now I'm roofing even though I just said it's gonna work on the inside of the house. This is where you start to realize how prevalent that is gonna be. And it's not that bad. You'll get used to it. I've gotten used to it. You might not want to though, which is fair. Which is why I keep saying if anyone ever watches and not when. And I'm mostly assuming that I am chastising myself. So I'll make it higher then. But that looks so dumb now. Like it didn't before.
Approximately 10 hours later.
I will say, to be fair to myself, one of my major downfalls is roofing. And so I started on like the worst part, which is a good thing. You know, it's a good thing for everyone. I started on the hardest part for me so that we get the pain out of the way early.
Oh, yes. Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
There's lots of things that are wrong with what's happening to me currently. I feel as though I am dimensionally missing something. Essentially what I'm trying to say is that I'm abandoning the roof. That will be good enough. Because it's bad, right? But the style of house is also just bad. So I'm just gonna do the normal thing that I do with roofs, where I just make everything dark so that it all sort of blends in and no one part of it really catches the eye. So there's a thing. It is a thing that frustrates me, and it's probably fixable, but I don't know how to. When you set this, the angled roof trim, onto like a porch, if you notice, originally these two line up. Once you do that, you set it here, and they don't anymore. And that bothers me for sure, and I don't know what to do about it. And so I never use those when I'm doing a house with like a porch roof. So as good as it looked to me and no one else, it's not what I'm gonna do. It's disheartening. Building is disheartening. Also, I need to remember that I have a budget. Alright, that doesn't match. This whole time, it's just anyone who plays The Sims trying to get wood swatches to match. Step 1. Never gonna do it, so you'll never get to step 2. Also, I am realizing that I have not been paying nearly enough attention to the budget because we are still on the outside and I've gone through about 2,000 of the 9,000 and something dollars we started with, or simoleons, which is not where you want to be. You'll also notice that I'm using a lot of the snowy escape pack. And does that make the house look kind of weird because it's supposed to be Louisiana and not Japan? Probably, but I'll tell you what, I don't care because it looks better.
Sure, Jan.
I need to move into the house before I'm out of money while I try to make that look good. Also, you will find this is a Ficus elastica CC plant that I've had for a very long time. I use it way too much because it's beautiful and it's cheap. There's other CC plants that are also beautiful. Like, look at this. Gorgeous, stunning, but it's $900, so like, even if this house is trashier than most of my houses are, because there's an additional pressure of me recording it, which again, incredibly socially anxious as a person. Not even a joke. Like, even if it's worse, I'll still feel better about it. Because, at the very least, you know, I gave it a shot, and I gave it so much of a shot that I decided I was going to terrify myself and record it all to hold myself even more accountable, which, whether or not it's good in the end, I find that alone to be impressive for me. Also, just a shout out, I'm not using it here, because no, but that's great. It's just great. That's all. I'm a little obsessed with space, but we're not going to get into it, because there's a few things that if you know me, you know not to get me riled up on. Another one of those is, just as a heads up, Spirited Away. Actually kind of most Ghibli, but like specifically Spirited Away also. Potentially a little obsessed, like genuinely a little obsessed. Also, I do this thing with art where like I'll just place random art that doesn't make any sense. What is that? Just no faces? Sure. Same, honestly. Boom. Another no face. See, I almost just triggered myself by saying no face. Character from Spirited Away. You see? The brain just sort of attaches to it. I'm also going to do them, whoever lives here. Well, in this case. Is she still little Charlie Barley over here? I love that I asked if she was still over here as if she could have moved anywhere. I'm going to do her a solid and make her bedroom bigger because I'm just sweet like that. I have to cut off all source of light in the room. Another thing I shouldn't be doing is trying to decorate when I don't even have windows or furniture or wallpaper yet. Fire alarm boy will go somewhere. Actually use money that we have to build things that are expensive, like bathrooms and kitchens. Because I have 4,000 left and I have yet to put all the windows down and try to landscape outside, so it might not happen. The amount of time I take is completely deplorable for some of the decisions, how simple they are. I'm gonna be fair, there's probably people that love bathrooms. There's probably people that are super about them, building them in The Sims, want them to be the most exquisite places. I am not one of those people.
To say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing.
The Gen Z in me just immediately wants to make a joke about probably pretty deep-seated trauma. But I'm gonna actively stop myself because I'm growing as a person. Oh, I mean, I was about to say I could put laundry there, but I also have $2,700, so I'm not in fact gonna put laundry there. You know what? Wicker hamper and a plant. And you already know my fave. Really should give them a name if I do upload this. And if you would care to watch it for some reason, and then care to comment, give me a name for that plant. Don't think about it too hard. Just don't. This is really just me memeing to make myself comfortable. Honestly, wrong answers only is a vibe that I'm going for. How do people build? I realize that I've made it more difficult by having a starter home budget and trying to make the house look decent. But like, how do they do it? Because I am struggling. Also, I'm obsessed. The Dream Team Sims.
Have you ever had a dream that you
You knew the amount of times I had to say that? They just make really cool artwork. CC makers are so talented. I also had this whole dream that I wanted to do the upper cupboards on this, and it would look great. Turns out we're not doing that because we can't afford that. But it was a dream, and I want to credit myself for having thought of it, having been creative enough to think of it. But I have $1,000 and I haven't even started on the bedroom yet. So another favorite of mine does not fit in this situation, but I'm just gonna place it right here on this table, and I'll come back and put it in the bedroom somewhere because it deserves to be seen. You can't. This is a double-edged sword because, like I was about to say, I can't wait to do bigger houses that have a bigger budget, but also I hate furnishing bigger houses, so like that's not fully true. I can in fact wait. I would love to wait. Maybe we take one out of Little Simsy's book and we just make everything smaller. I don't know if it'll necessarily be better, but it'll at least look like there's not just empty space. And that's the vibe I'm going for here. Not just empty space, like there was effort put in. Because there was. I've set myself up for failure. And I realized that because I was not paying enough attention to the budget. So it looks less dumb. Not like good, because that hallway is tiny. Honestly, you think at this point I would have learned that the first thing you do is make everything smaller. You don't wait until it's an issue. And then what did I do? I waited until it was an issue. What I'm not gonna do is pretend that I had a lot of forethought going into this, because that's insulting to me. I think if I do this and then duplicate it and then pull it in on the side. Huh. I've been told that that's a thing, but I never actually did it. I'm going to try, priorities to get her a desk, because you need computers in The Sims 4. There's no option. You have to have a computer. I am aware phones exist, but it doesn't matter. Dilemma we've reached here. Can you imagine if I had decided not to sell the majority of the house? There'd be no way we would have even gotten this far. Because even now, I don't think I have enough to get like a good... I have a Pride computer, which like, why not, Green and purple. Just immediately default to asexual. You gotta represent yourself sometimes. You have to see yourself. None of these yellows are good. That's the most aggressive thing I've ever seen in my life. Should I do a tool boy? The answer is no, because I can't afford a tool boy. I'm trying to find cheap wall decorations, because while I didn't do it, I was gonna put an easel. And so, potentially, Charlie is an artist. Therefore, you would want to look super quirky.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in.
And then I'm gonna stick a plant in here because it doesn't fit, but I can move the bed over. Maybe shut a carpet in, if I can afford a carpet in. Sure. That's not terrible. It is not good, but it's not terrible. Could have been much worse. I've seen much worse. I've done much worse. Almost forgot to move them. There you go. Nope. There you go. Also, I never landscaped. And maybe I should have done that earlier. I am probably not gonna have enough to make this landscaping look even remotely good. But again, if you'll remember, I prefaced in the beginning, it's not gonna be good. Be prepared to be incredibly disappointed. This is the extent of my landscaping skills. Just a path, a bush or two here and there. I'm just trying to make it not look terrible. It does, because again, I don't landscape, but it's happening, and I apologize. Now, I'm coming up to the end of it here, and honestly, we're not gonna front and say it's good, but not as bad as I thought it would be. I normally don't play with budget restrictions. This is a finished product. She's gorgeous. She's the best you've ever seen. go in, the lighting's bad, but like nothing I can do about that. So you go into the house, there's these beautiful smaller rock and flowers. And then as you enter, which is fair, probably the main reason why I couldn't afford anything was these doors and windows and maybe those pillars, but a part of me feels like it was worth it. There's a beautiful empty entrance here with a thermostat and umbrella, all you can need. This is probably, I shouldn't have started on it first because I spent way too much time here and probably spent too much money on it, but beautiful in my mind. And then you come over to the kitchen, she's bare, right, we know that. And also, not letting that slide. Don't know when that happened, but the answer is no. And now I have extra money. Hold. So anyway, I just put more rocks down. That's what I did with the extra money. But you come in here, and there's a great this. That is beautiful. My bedroom feels bare. I think it's just because I could have laid it out better, but I did do it last, which wasn't a great idea, but it's what I did. That's life. And then you come through this tiny, tiny little corridor. Just the smallest one you've ever seen. And there's a beautiful bathroom here. Excuse it, also, if you can hear my cat snoring. He does that for a living, some would say. And there's a bunch of little, just lots of things. It's a starter house. They're not supposed to look good. Comparative to what I started with, I feel like it's better, but I did make it, so I'm probably biased. But we'll say I'm proud of it. I'll give it I'll rate it. I won't rate it. You rate it. I don't want to rate it. I feel like I'll hurt my own feelings. Anyway, any comments and suggestions would actually be super helpful because I'm genuinely not a good builder. I mean, I don't have to explain that. It's pretty apparent. Okay, moving on. Any constructive criticism on how to build better? I'm not a smart builder. But if you have tips on how I could be smarter, I would greatly appreciate it because I'm annoyed. Because I like to build, I'm just not good, and that annoys me. Alright, well, this will be, suppose, goodbye for now because I'm going to hold myself accountable and I'm going to do this again. But goodbye for now, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.